We have already discussed about the three types of collisions. Perfectly elastic collision, that is also called as elastic collision. And the second one, semi-elastic collision, that is inelastic collision. And the third one is perfectly inelastic collision, and that is also called as the plastic collision. Yesterday we have completed, right? And we have started doing the problems on that. So we will continue with the same. So likhiye beta, question likhiye. Write on the question. Question likhiye. An object of mass m, an object of mass m moving with speed u an object of mass m moving with speed u collides one dimensionally with another, collides one dimensionally लिखिए बेटा, collides one dimensionally with another identical object at rest, full stop. Find the velocities after collision. Find the velocities after collision if the coefficient of restitution of collision is E. If the coefficient of restitution of collision is E. If the coefficient of restitution of collision is E. Now, here coefficient of restitution is given. That means 100% it is not the elastic collision, it is a semi-elastic collision, that is inelastic collision. So beta hum inelastic collision ke equations likhte hain that already I told you the hint. You have to remember only the first formula, you can frame the others. ठीक है, चलिए कैसा लिखेंगे यहाँ पे देख लीजिए आप. V1 is equals to m1 minus m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 plus 2 m2 by m1 plus m2 into u2. This is the formula what I have given you for elastic collision. For elastic, let us modify this afterwards. लेकिन elastic के लिए तो लिख दूंगा बेटा पहले यहाँ पे. That is v2 is equals to just you have to interchange. That is m2 minus m1 by m1 plus m2 into u2 plus next 2 m1 u1 by m1 plus m2. This we have done for elastic collision. This we have done, and we have proved also, right? We have derived this velocity. So this is v1 and this is v2. This is for elastic beta. But once we go for inelastic collision, what the hint I have given you, this is the hint. If suppose you don't understand the hint, I ask the students to remember the formula. अब और कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते। देखिए बेटा, अगर हिंट दे रहे, अगर उसको आप नहीं समझ रहे, देन बेटर टू रिमेंबर द फॉर्मूला, ठीक है। देखिए व्हाट द हिंट आई हैव गिवन, माइनस वेरेवर यू आर गेटिंग माइनस यू हैव टू राइट ई। आपको याद होगा बेटा, जहां पे भी माइनस है वहां पे ई लिख देना है, बोला मैं आपको, राइट। सो हियर आल्सो यू विल राइट ई बिकॉज माइनस इज देयर। नेक्स्ट व्हाट आई टोल्ड यू, वेरेवर टू इज देयर, चलिए आपसे पूछेंगे, इफ यू रिमेंबर, आपको याद है तो बताइए। वेरेवर माइनस इज देयर यू हैव टू राइट ई, और नेक्स्ट क्या है बेटा, वेरेवर टू इज देयर क्या लिखेंगे आप बताइए, चलिए। Wherever 2 is there, what you are going to write? Yes, very good. It is going to be 1 plus e. 1 plus e. ठीक है, तो here 2 is there. So what I do, you know, here I will write to frame out the formula 1 plus e here, as well as this is 2 is there. So I will write 1 plus e. I hope it is clear. Now just we have to see an object is there. An object is there. ये object जो है ना बेटा of mass m है, it is colliding with another object that is an identical object. So therefore m1 is equals to m2, दोनों के masses same है, and each mass is equal to m, दोनों का mass किसके बराबर है बेटा, m के बराबर है. And the second condition is the second object is at rest. You can see the second object at rest is there. So that means the initial velocity of the second object is 0. So therefore what I do, wherever u2 is there, no, that part will become 0. This part will become 0 as well as this part will become 0. Why? Because u2 is 0. u2 is 0 because the second object is at rest. So therefore wherever you are having u2, make it as 0. Now let us substitute. What is this v1? v1 is equals to m1 and m2 both are equal by m plus m. Now m we can take common, 1 minus e by, acha, this is u1. What is u1? It is given as u. In the question it is given as u. So I will take as u only. So m plus m beta, this is 2m. So m get cancelled. 1 minus e into u by 2. 1 minus e into u by 2. ठीक है. Now अब आइए this part v2 के लिए जाइए आप. v2 के लिए this is 1 plus e m1 u1. So this is 0. 1 plus e as it is, this is m, this is u beta by m plus m. So 1 plus e into mu by 2m, m get cancelled, 1 plus e into u by 2. Copy it. Now next question. I hope you have completed. Next question around, students. A bullet of mass m, a bullet of mass m, small m लिखिए बेटा. A bullet of mass m means small m, moving with the velocity u, moving with the velocity u, it strikes a suspended wooden block, strikes a suspended wooden block of mass capital M, of mass capital M. If the block, sorry, 1 minute beta, of block, wooden block of mass M and gets embedded in it, and gets embedded, EMBEDDED, embedded in it, embedded in it, full stop. If the block rises to height small h, if the block rises to height small h, then the initial velocity u, of the bullet then the initial velocity u of the bullet must have been now pay attention. One block is there. This block is suspended like by a string or by a rope, whatever it is. This is the block. And the mass of this block is how much? M. Mass of this block is M. And one bullet is coming horizontally. Bullet mass is small m, and it is moving with the velocity u. It is moving with the velocity u. And this bullet is striking the wooden block. So what happens, you know, beta, wooden block hai, when the bullet strikes, it is clearly given, it is not coming out. It's not coming out. The bullet, after striking the block, the bullet is getting embedded in it. Embedded matlab isme dhas gaya beta, isme penetrate ho gaya aur ruk gaya. Are you getting my point? So what I can say that when this bullet of mass m is moving with the velocity u, strikes the wooden block, then what is happening? This bullet will be penetrating and stopping. That the word they have mentioned it as embedded in it. ठीक है, यहाँ पे bullet आ गया. तो अब ये bullet जब आ गया ना बेटा, यहाँ पे suppose this is the bullet. So what happens when it is striking, you know, it is rising up. This block is rising up. This block along with the bullet. Block भी है और उसमें bullet भी आ गया. Both together they are rising up, and what is the height they have mentioned? How much is the height? कितनी height पे rise हुआ बेटा ये? कितनी height पे rise हुआ? This is rise to the height of h. It rises to the height h. So it's raised to the height how much? H. So we have to calculate what is the initial velocity of the bullets. This is a simple question. But here, why we are taking this question under collision? Because here the collision is taking place. Collision taking place because The bullet is colliding with the block, wooden block. My question is, मेरा सवाल सिंपल सा सवाल आपसे ये है बेटा, ये collision, I have drawn everything on the board what is given on the in the question, right? So my question with you is, which type of collision it is? It is elastic collision, inelastic collision या perfectly inelastic collision है? कौन से type का collision? थोड़ा सा reply दीजिए. Yes. But this is perfectly inelastic collision. The reason here is after collision, both are moving together. Both are moving together with the common velocity. So therefore, देखिए दोनों एक साथ आगे बढ़े नहीं. So this is the perfectly inelastic collision. चलिए अब यहाँ पे what I do for whether it is elastic collision or perfectly inelastic collision या कोई भी टाइप का collision होगा बेटा, momentum is conserved. क्या होगा? Momentum is conserved. So we can apply law of conservation of momentum here. Law of conservation of momentum. Law of conservation of momentum I'm applying. So what is this law of conservation of momentum? Momentum before collision is equals to momentum after collision. So momentum before collision is what? What is the momentum of this bullet? It is mass into velocity, that is mu, m into u, plus what is this? What is this beta? Ye kya hoga? What is this? It is at rest, right? It is suspended block. So therefore, capital M into 0, that is equal to, now both are moving together, that means they are having the common velocity. So let us calculate what is that common velocity. इसको कैलकुलेट करने के लिए बेटा थोड़ा सा मैं आपको हिंट यहाँ पे दे रहा हूं. यहाँ पे देखिए, when this strikes, you know, when this is going to strike, it is having, देखिए try to understand बेटे मैं क्या बताना चाह रहा हूं. When this block, it is at rest, this bullet is coming and embedded in it. So together they are going to move with some velocity v. Some velocity v से आगे बढ़ेगा नहीं. So this is v itself is the common velocity. So I can say that, try to understand. Again I am saying, यहाँ पे देखिए बेटा, this is the block of mass m और ये है bullet of mass small m. After before collision its velocity was u, लेकिन immediately after collision common velocity I am considering it as v. Common velocity I am considering as v. Now, which type of energy we have? Kinetic energy, because it is in motion now. Kinetic energy. लेकिन यही kinetic energy, when it rises to the height h, it is having the potential energy. थोड़ा सा ध्यान देना है यहाँ पे. The block along with the bullet started moving. That means it is there. It is having the combination, the system of block and the bullet. They are having kinetic energy. Once they are in motion, they are having kinetic energy. Once they rise to certain height, ये height पे आ गया ना बेटा, तो it is having certain height पे the potential energy. So what is the formula for kinetic energy and what is the formula for potential energy? Let us recall. So kinetic energy is half mv square. Potential energy is mgh. लेकिन यहाँ पे the mass is not just m, not just small m. Together, दोनों एक साथ जा रहा है बेटा. So therefore, what I do, you know, kinetic energy half m v square, दोनों का एक साथ लेंगे आप, because both together are moving, that is equals to mgh. mgh, this is the height h. I hope it is clear. यहाँ पे kinetic energy रहेगा बेटा, here it will be potential energy. mgh half mv square only I am using. why the reason why I am taking m plus m, क्यों ले रहा हूं भाई? What is the reason? Because along with the block the bullet is also moving. I repeat once again, along with the block bullet is also moving. So therefore this and this get cancelled. ये दोनों कैंसिल हो गया बेटा. So what is this v? Is this part is visible? Yes. Okay, ठीक है, चलिए. So बेटा यहाँ पे देखिए, this is what v square, that is equal to this 2 I am sending this side 2gh. So v is how much? V is equals to under root of 2gh, under root of 2gh. So this is the velocity with which this block and the bullet will starts moving. तो ये velocity रहेगा बेटा block के लिए, और यही velocity रहेगा किसके लिए? bullet के लिए. तो यहाँ पे लिखेंगे हम when it rising, no, after collision mass of the bullet is small m, and this bullet is moving with how much velocity? Under root 2gh. Block after collision, the block is what? Mass m, and this is moving with the velocity, the same velocity, under root of 2gh, because both are moving together. Now this is equals to mu. Beta dono mein se what we can take common? Two gh common. So what is the initial velocity as per the question? M plus m into root 2gh by small m. So this is the answer. Okay beta, ठीक है. You cannot see the bottom part नहीं, तो मैं I'm writing here. No need to worry. No need to worry. I'm writing this part. ठीक है. This part v square is equals to 2gh है ना, तो I am writing here only. So v is equals to under root of 2gh. Is it okay? Now is it visible? चलिए लिख लीजिए. Why the kinetic energy is equal to potential energy? We are applying law of conservation of energy. Now beta, pay attention, pay attention. यहाँ पे what I am taking is, pay attention, this is a very important part of what I am saying. So यहाँ पे देखिए बेटा, this block and the bullet both are moving together, so therefore m plus m I am taking. If suppose only block is moving, bullet after striking the wooden block, the bullet comes out. Are you getting? जरूरी नहीं है कि भाई it should get embedded in the block, right? So when it is striking the block, after striking the block, if it is having enough velocity, it may leave the block and comes out from the other side of the block. So only if the block is rising up, सिर्फ और सिर्फ block rise हो रहा है बेटा, तो what you have to take? अब मेरे को आंसर देना. Only block is rising up and the bullet has left the block after striking it, after colliding it. So what I have to write in place of m plus m, क्या लिखेंगे आप बताइए? It's only the block is rising up. The bullet has left the block. What you are going to write? Be careful. कैपिटल एम या स्मॉल एम में थोड़ा केयरफुल रह के आंसर भी जाइए बेटा, बिकॉज स्मॉल एम एंड कैपिटल एम just it's not, you should not have any confusion part for that. Yes, very good, very good. तो यहाँ पे बुलेट, when the bullet leaves the block after striking, तो अब आप यहाँ पे क्या करेंगे बेटा? what you are going to do here is just you need to take only capital M. और अब देखिए अब आप what you are going to have only capital M. और यहाँ पे हम डायग्राम कैसा चेंज करेंगे? देखिए the bullet has left, तो इसमें हम बुलेट को हम ड्रॉ नहीं करेंगे यहाँ पे. एंड दिस इफ यू सी this m, again this m and this m part will get cancelled, दोनों m cancel होगा. Again we are going to get v square is equals to 2gh, v is equals to under root 2gh. So don't get confused. You should not have any what dilemma कि भाई when the bullet and the block it's moving, it is under root 2gh. Only block when it moves, what is the formula? It is only under root 2gh. Because the velocity is independent of the mass. Velocity is independent of the mass. ठीक है ना? तो यहाँ पे हम क्या बता रहे बेटा? Try to understand. हम जो मैं बताना चाह रहा हूँ, what I want to show you here is the velocity is always equal to under root 2gh, whether the bullet is embedded in the block or not. That is not the condition. तो यहाँ पे anyhow the masses are getting cancelled. I hope it is clear. The next question already asked in the NEET, तो वही question करा रहा हूँ, जरा अच्छे से देखिए. A bullet of mass 10 gram. चलिए बेटा, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. A bullet of mass 10 gram moving horizontally, a bullet of mass 10 gram moving horizontally with a velocity 400 meters per second. With a velocity 400 meters per second. 400 meters per second. Strikes a wooden block of mass 2 kg. Strikes a wooden block of mass 2 kg, which is suspended. Block of mass 2 kg, which is suspended, by light inextensible string, of length 5 meter, of length 5 meter, of length 5 meter. Full stop. As a result, the center of gravity of the block, the center of gravity of the block the center of gravity of the block found to rise a vertical distance of 10 centimeter. Want to rise a vertical distance of 10 centimeter. The speed of the bullet after it emerges out horizontally from the block. After it emerges out horizontally from the block will be the speed of the bullet after it emerges out horizontally from the block will be Now this is the different model, students. Here pay attention. This bullet is there, one bullet is there of mass small m, what we have considered as 10 gram. It's moving and striking this, and what happens, it emerges out after striking the wooden block. It is emerges out means it's coming out, but the block of mass m is rising because it has hit the block, so it is going to rise. So it is rising up to a height of how much? 10 centimeter. To a height of how much? 10 centimeter. Vertical displacement matlab that is height only. 10 centimeter it is rising up, but the bullet is not inside the block. The bullet is coming out. After striking it, the bullet is coming out. Suppose what is that velocity we need to calculate? Suppose the velocity is how much? V1 we take, because this is V1. Ye V1. V1 is the velocity of the bullet when it emerges out. That is immediately after the collision. V1 is the velocity we are considering. Now, beta, pay attention. I want what is U1, what is U2, what is V1 and what is V2, so that I can substitute or I can apply the law of conservation of linear momentum. So देखिए यहाँ पे what is M and capital M, that is mentioned. And now I want U1, U2, V1, V2. So let us calculate one by one. What is U1? U1. देखिए बेटा U1 यहाँ पे the bullet is moving with the velocity 400 meters per second. So this itself is U1. So I will write U1 as it is, so 400 meters per second. What is U2? U2, it is suspended block. It is just a suspended block by an inextensible string. It is just suspended. So therefore, no velocity. U2 is 0. Now let us go for V1. What is V1? V1 is the velocity of the bullet after it emerges out or after the collision. So therefore, what I do, V1 is V1 only I am considering. V1 as V1 only I am considering. You can check. Next, what is this V2? V2, that is the velocity. Pay attention, very important part. The fourth part is very important. V2 is the velocity of the block. V2 is the velocity of the block after collision. So what is the velocity after the block after collision? You know, अभी हमें बताया था मैं आपको, it is under root of 2gh. V2 just now we have seen, no, मैं आपको block रखकर भी बताया and block bullet भी रखकर मैं बताया. तो answer will be after collision, if it is rising to the height h, then the velocity will be under root of 2gh. I hope it is clear. So let us substitute all these values in our formula. What the formula we are having? Law of conservation of momentum. M1u1 plus M2u2 is equals to M1v1 plus M2v2. What is M1? M1, चलिए आइए. M1 is 10 gram बेटा. 10 gram. It is not the SI unit. So we are solving the problem in SI unit. तो 10 gram को हम क्या करेंगे यहाँ पे? 10 into 10 power of minus 3. Gram I'm converting in kg. ये वाला बेटा 10 into 10 power of minus 3. This is kg. Kg. I'm converting in kg. So this I have written. What is U1? U1 you can check. What is U1? It is 400. So I'll write 400 plus M2. What is M2 beta? M2 is capital M, mass of the block, right? So this is what 2 kg. What is U2? It is at rest, initial velocity. Now what is M1? M1 again, what is M1? It is the same thing, that is bullet. 10 into 10 to the power of minus 3. What is V1? That V1 only we need to calculate. What is this V1? V1 is V. यहाँ पे देखिए V1 is V1 only. Plus what is M2 बेटा? ये 2 है. What is V2? Under root of 2GH है. Under root of 2GH. Now let us simplify this. देखिए, this is 400 into 10, 4000. That means 3 zeros, and this 10 power of minus 3. So it will become just 4. And thus 2 into 0 is 0. That is equal to this part. This part you can see it is 10 power of minus 2 beta, because it is 1, right? 10 power of minus 2. And this is V1 plus this is 2 times under root of 2 G. What is G? Let us take 9.8 because it is simplification will be easy for this problem. 9.8 ke liye. So I'll write 9.8 only. This is 9.8 into what is H? It is rising to a height of how much? 10 centimeter. So this 10 centimeter we can convert in meters because centimeter is not the SI unit. So 10 into meter में जब आप convert करेंगे, this will be 10 into 10 power of minus 2 meter. So I will write into 10 2GH. Now beta this part will be only 4. This is 10 power of minus 2 V1 plus 2. Pay attention, a very important step. 2 into 9.8 is 19.6. 19.6 into 10. 19.6 into 10 करेंगे तो 196 मिलेगा बेटा. 196 into 10 power of minus 2. So this is 4 is equals to 10 power of minus 2 V1 plus 2. 196 का रूट क्या लेंगे बेटा? 196. The root of 196 it is 14 into 10 power of minus 2 का रूट it will be 10 power of minus 1. ठीक है? Now again 4 is equal to 10 power of minus 2 V1. This is how much? Plus this is 28 beta. 28 into 10 power of minus 1. Now this is 4 is equals to 10 power of minus 2 V1. This I can write it as 2.8. इसको हम क्या लिखेंगे? 2.8 लिखेंगे. 2 in 28 into 10 power of minus 1. One decimal we can shift to 2.8. Now what is this 10 power of minus 2 V1? 10 power of minus 2 V1 is equal to, beta this is 4 is there. I am taking 2.8 this side. So what it becomes? 4 minus 2.8. So this is V1, 10 power of minus 2 V1 is equal to, this is 1.2. 4 minus 2.8 is 1.2. So this is V1 is equals to 1.2 by 10 power of minus 2. I'm taking this in the denominator. When this 10 power of minus 2 goes in the numerator, no, so what it becomes? 1.2 into 10 power of 2. So 1.2 into 10 to the power of 2, अगर आप दो जीरो से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो इट इज 120 meters per second. कॉपी कर लीजिए. The velocity with which the bullet comes out is 120 meters per second. You can see clearly this is 120 meters per second. तो दिया हुआ है बेटा. So you can see initially it was moving with how much? 400 meters per second. 100% we can observe that when it is striking the block and when it comes out, 100% its velocity will reduce. You can see that it is now it is moving with how much? 120 meters per second. Previously it was moving with 400 meters per second. Now it is moving with 120 meters per second. Copy कर लीजिए fast. What is this beta? V1 is equal to V1. I have written the velocity of the first body after collision. The V1 I am considering as V1 only. आप ये नहीं समझ में आया बोले तो V1 is equal to V1 समझ में नहीं आया, पूरा पार्ट समझ में आया आपको? थोड़ा रिप्लाई दीजिए बेटे. Have you understood the complete thing? ये पूरा समझ में आया? Only this part? ओके ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग इज, यहाँ पे जो है ना बेटे, दिस इज V1. व्हाट इज दिस V1? V1 इज हमारे को जो हम ऑलरेडी पढ़ चुके हैं उसके हिसाब से बात कर रहा हूं मैं. V1 इज द फाइनल वेलोसिटी ऑफ द फर्स्ट बॉडी. तो फर्स्ट बॉडी इज व्हाट हियर? बुलेट. First body is the bullet. So what is the final velocity of this bullet? It is V1. As per our question, हम क्या कर रहे हैं? V1 consider कर रहे हैं. So therefore I am writing V1 is equals to V1. आप कुछ भी ले सकते हैं, X, Y जो लेना है आपके लीजिए, but ultimately you are going to calculate the velocity of the bullet. I hope it is clear. बेटा ये जो पार्ट है ना, वी आर अप्लाइंग, आई हैव रिटन द हेडिंग लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ लीनियर मोमेंटम, दैट इज मोमेंटम ओनली. ये मोमेंटम बिफोर कोलिजन, मोमेंटम आफ्टर कोलिजन. दिस इज द डेटा फॉर बिफोर कोलिजन एंड दैट इज द डेटा आफ्टर कोलिजन. ठीक है. अच्छा ठीक है. देखिए बेटा यहाँ पे देखिए 2 है, 2 का 2 लिखा, आई हैव रिटन 2 एज 2. 196 का रूट आई एम टेकिंग एज 14. अब ये रूट्स कैसा आया ये मत पूछिए आप, हाउ वी आर गेटिंग दिस 196 रूट एज 14, दैट यू हैव टू डू दैट. तो 196 का रूट बेटा 14, और 10 पावर ऑफ -2 का रूट कितना होता है? 10 पावर ऑफ -1. दैट्स व्हाई आई हैव रिटन दिस स्टेप. आई होप इट इज क्लियर. 795. अब जो फोटो भेजा है ना बेटा उसमें क्लियरली दिख रहा व्हाट इज दिस रिटर्न. 120 मीटर पर सेकेंड. 120 मीटर पर सेकेंड. Beta, this is root 2GH. Why you people are getting such type of doubts? I don't know. देखिए क्वेश्चन एक ही कर रहे हैं लेकिन इसके पीछे हम 25-30 मिनट इसमें लगा रहे हैं. आप आइए, अब मैं काम करता हूँ, कल आप लोग से एक मैं फोन करेंगे. चलिए एक फोन करता हूँ मैं, जो ये डाउट पूछे ना उनको ही फोन करता हूँ. फोन कर रहा हूँ बेटा, जरा अच्छे से देखिए. अब आप किसको कर रहा हूँ? 792. आप रेडी रहिए टेबल्स के लिए 1 to 20. ठीक है. 1 to 20 में से मैं भी टेबल पूछ रहा हूँ मैं आपसे. तो चलिए प्लीज रिसीव द कॉल. 792. अब टेबल्स भी नहीं आ रहे, हम लोग इंटरमीडिएट फर्स्ट ईयर में आ गए सर, हम लोगों को टेबल भी नहीं आ रहा बोले तो अपन क्या करेंगे, छोटा सा, जस्ट ए मिनट बेटा. Okay, students. So let us move to the next. अच्छा ठीक है, कुछ doubts है, let us check. Okay. Now next question, beta. Am I audible, students? Okay. Now one question I'm giving you as an homework. लिखिए question. बेटा question लिखिए. Homework question. A body capital A. A body capital A with momentum P. Capital P. A body A with momentum capital P collides with another identical stationary body B. Collides with another identical stationary body B. Body B one dimensionally. Capital B लिखना है बेटा, one dimensionally. During the collision, capital B given an impulse J. During the collision, capital B, that is the body B beta, capital B given an impulse J to the body A. Impulse J to the body A. Then the coefficient of restitution is I am repeating the question. और एक बार repeat कर रहा हूं, सुन लीजिए बेटा. A body A with momentum P collides with another identical stationary body B one dimensionally. During the collision, B given an impulse J, capital J, to the body A. Then the coefficient of restitution is. ठीक है. तो identical, one word is used बेटा, identical मतलब क्या है, masses are same. Body A and the body B का दोनों का मास क्या है, सेम है. That means identical. ठीक है, चलिए. Leave some space for this and the time for this before 7 आप भिजा दीजिए इसका solution करके बेटा. Next question read on. Next question लिखिए बेटे. A particle of mass m moving with the speed v. A particle of mass m moving with speed v moving with speed v hits elastically another stationary particle of mass 2m on a smooth horizontal circular tube of radius r the time in which the next collision will takes place the time which the next collision will takes place is equal to but I'm giving 2 minutes time. Think for this. If you get the answer, send it. If not, I will solve. But here underline the word elastically. Hits elastically means the collision is elastic collision. Underline कर लीजिए बेटा. Hits elastically. So that you should not think for inelastic collision. We are having 3 types of collisions. So whenever we get a problem on collision, we have the diversion, right? यहाँ पे हमारे को mind हमारे को सोचने की जरूरत ही नहीं है बेटा, the whether the collision is elastic or the inelastic. तो यहाँ पे it's clearly given, it is the body of mass m, it's hitting the body of mass 2m elastically. ठीक है, चलिए fast. Hmm. 120, last 3 digits of the phone number 120. बेटा immediately send करिए आप टिक. You have sent the answer, no? 2 pi r by v. Immediately भेजाइए pick. I want to check the solution. You are taking time. Sorry to say, you are taking time. This much time you don't take just to take the pick and send. व्हाट हैपेंड बेटा? अब एक भी आंसर नहीं आया अब तक। मे बी द आंसर इज रॉन्ग। यू शुड नॉट कंसिडर बेटे, यू शुड नॉट कंसिडर, यहाँ पे कोई कंसिडरेशन मत करिए आप टाइम टेकन फॉर द फर्स्ट कोलिजन, बिकॉज इज नॉट मेंशन, राइट? टाइम टेकन फॉर द सेकंड कोलिजन दे आर आस्किंग, तो हमारे को टाइम टेकन फॉर द फर्स्ट कोलिजन इज नॉट गिवन, सो व्हाई यू कंसीडर? नहीं, मत करिए कंसीडर, डोंट कंसीडर। 430, ओके। नाउ पे टेंशन, देखिए बेटे, वन सर्कुलर लोप इज देयर, दिस इज सर्कुलर लोप, इस तरह से वन सर्कुलर लोप इज देयर, ठीक है, वन सर्कुलर लोप। और इसी में बेटे वन बॉडी इज देयर ऑफ मास m and another body is there of mass 2m. This is moving with velocity how much? v. This is moving with velocity v से move हो रहा है, so it is going and hitting this, it is going and hitting. So what happens? This will move in this way and another body also moves in the same way. So we have to calculate what is the time taken for the next collision. Second collision के लिए कितना time लग रहा है, that we need to calculate. So it's very simple beta. In first derivation I have given you one concept, that is relative velocity. याद होगा आपको बेटा ये relative velocity before collision is equal to relative velocity. This we have done beta. Relative velocity after collision. In elastic collision जरा check करिए whether this is there or not. Relative velocity of approach before collision is equals to relative velocity of separation after collision. That we have done already. That is relative velocity before collision is equals to relative velocity after collision. So relative velocity means what? We have done this. याद है आपको relative velocity concept पढ़ाया था बेटा मैं आपको. When we have done like last week only we have done this relative concept velocity. So relative velocity means velocity of the first body with respect to the second body. And this we have proved, this concept we have proved in elastic dimension, in elastic collision also in one dimension. So यहाँ पे देखिए अब what we are getting, relative velocity before collision is equals to relative velocity after collision. बेटा इसकी कितनी velocity है? What is the velocity here? Suppose I take before collision u1 minus u2 and after collision v2 minus v1. This step also we had done, ये भी हम कर चुके हैं बेटा, this step also we have done. So what is u1? u1 is v minus what is u2? u2 is 0 because the second body is at rest. Now that is equals to v2 minus v1. This is the relative velocity after collision. So what is this? v2 minus v1 is just v beta. That is relative velocity after collision. मतलब दोनों में इतनी velocity relative है. That is the relative velocity of the second body with respect to the first body. Means the first body you have to consider it as rest. तो कितनी हो गई velocity? d. तो we are asked to calculate the time. चलिए time calculate करेंगे. तो time is equals to you know distance और displacement, जो भी लेना है आप ले सकते हैं यहाँ पे. For one collision, the next collision they are saying by velocity, or I can say relative velocity. Pay attention. यहाँ पे वी आर गेटिंग रिलेटिव वेलोसिटीज, वेलोसिटीज आर इक्वल. अब यहाँ पे देखिए बेटा मैं आपको यहाँ पे स्लैश डाला हूँ. व्हाई? बिकॉज आपका क्वेश्चन ये होगा सर वेलोसिटी रहेगा तो हम डिस्प्लेसमेंट कंसीडर करेंगे तो डिस्प्लेसमेंट 0 हो जाएगा. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड माय क्वेश्चन बेटा. जब एक बॉल जब पूरा घूम के फिर वापस यहाँ पे आएगा तो डिस्प्लेसमेंट आप बोलेंगे 0. डिस्प्लेसमेंट 0 होने से हम ये नहीं बता सकते कि भाई टाइम इज 0. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा आपको कंफ्यूजन अवॉइड करने के लिए आई एम गिविंग डिस्टेंस ऑल्सो। तो कितना डिस्टेंस मूव हुआ बेटा, पूरा पार्टिकल जो है ना एक जगह से, ये सपोज इट इज हैविंग द रेडियस आर, स्मॉल आर, सो हाउ मच इज द डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल्ड बाय दैट पार्टिकल, कितना डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल होगा, जस्ट मेरे को बताइए आप। Because we are calculating the relative velocity of v2 with respect to v1, so v1 is at rest, v2 is moving, तो ये पूरा मूव होने के लिए, ये वाला पूरा मूव होने के लिए कितना डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल होगा। अगर आप डिस्प्लेसमेंट में जाते हैं, देखिए मैं फिर से बोल रहा हूं बेटे, अगर आप डिस्प्लेसमेंट में जाएंगे, सर इट इज मूविंग कंप्लीटली एंड इट इज कमिंग टू द सेम पॉइंट, राइट, it is this particle is moving completely and coming to the same point, means you have a confusion that the displacement is zero, zero by something is zero, sir, time is zero, so will you expect that for the second collision the time will be zero? nahi honga na beta, time cannot be zero, so therefore I have given this word distance। चलिए बताइए। वेरी गुड, स्टूडेंट्स हैव सेंड द आंसर 2 पाई आर, वेरी गुड बेटा। तो यहां पे हम लिखेंगे दिस इज 2 पाई आर बाई relative velocity is v2 minus v1 and that is equal to v over problem। कॉपी करिए। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन लिखिए बेटा। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, दिस इज यू हैव टू सॉल्व, ठीक है, इट्स वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चन। नेक्स्ट लिखिए बेटा, टू पार्टिकल्स, टू परफेक्टली इलास्टिक स्फीयर्स, क्वेश्चन लिखिए, टू परफेक्टली इलास्टिक स्फीयर्स, two perfectly elastic spheres of masses 2 kg and 3 kg. Two perfectly elastic spheres of masses 2 kg and 3 kg, 2 kg and 3 kg, moving in opposite directions, moving in opposite directions with velocities 8 meters per second and 6 meters per second. 8 meters per second and 6 meters per second. Six meters per second. Collide with each other. Collide with each other. Find their velocities after the impact. Find their velocities after the impact. Find their velocities after the impact. देखिए बेटे यहाँ पे the question asked is find the velocities after the impact means find the velocities after the collision. So v1 and v2 you have to calculate. लेकिन थोड़ा सा आपको ये यहाँ पे ये याद रखना है, the two objects are not moving in the same direction. The two particles they are moving in the opposite direction. So when you take u1 as plus 8 meters per second, no, this must be minus 6 meters. ये थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखना है. We have derived the conditions when the particles they are moving in the same direction, but the question here given as the particles are moving in the opposite direction. So therefore, if it is plus, this will be minus. Then just find out what is v1 and what is v2. I have given you the formula for v1 and v2, right? v1 you have to write, and wherever 1 is there, 2 you have to write. So यहाँ पे दोनों के फॉर्मूले में दिया था बेटा. So just m1 is given, m2 is given, u1 is given, u2 is given. Just substitute and get the answer. थोड़ा सा ध्यान यहाँ पे ये रखना है. The particles are moving in the opposite direction, so therefore one is plus, other will be minus. I hope it is clear. So you have to send these two questions, what the questions I have given before 7 today. ठीक है? Thank you, Jazakallah.